California's Great America. This is an absolutely beautiful way to enter any kind of theme park. You have this giant fountain right here. You've got the largest carousel in the world, double-decker carousel that has been here since the 70s, and that is it. It is the tallest carousel. I believe it's called the Columbia Carousel, which is pretty cool. But isn't it just beautiful? Beverly Hills Cop 3 was filmed here back in 1994, and this sign right here would have said Wonder World instead of California's Great America, which is pretty cool. That is cement painted there, so I'm pretty sure they did the same thing for that. But we're going to take a look around today and kind of look at some of my favorite extinct or defunct rides that used to be here back during the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Now, this park has been through a lot of changes. When it originally opened in the 70s, it was Marriott's Great America. Yes, the hotel, Marriott's Great America. And there's a Marriott right across the street. Then it went to be a Six Flags Great America. And then from there, the best era of this park was when Paramount Pictures owned it. It was absolutely amazing. It was rides that were themed with movie names. It was, you know, the t-shirts, the shops, the foods, the lands, everything was named and themed with movies, which was absolutely incredible. I mean, it made everything so cool, and I've always been a big movie dork, like, forever. So this park was my favorite growing up. We were literally here. I mean, I had a season pass through all middle school, all of high school. I mean, I even have a season pass now. That's how much I love this park. Even though it has changed a lot, there are so many things here that I still love. One thing I don't love is that they've made a ton of space, and they've done this kind of around the park, and I'll show you as we go around the park. But all right, sorry about that. I had to hit a quick pause. One of the girls dropped a sweater. I kind of saw it on camera. But yeah, they've kind of opened this space up so much and changed it that it just, I don't know, it just feels like there needs to be stuff here. There's this whole big old grand entrance open area that I just don't like. That used to be different. Part of Beverly Hills Cop 3 was filmed over there. There was like a different, like a stage, like an outdoor stage there, which is gone. It's just a hill now. But we're going to walk around today, and we're going to check out all the defunct, well, not all of them, my favorite. We're going to check out the defunct or extinct rides that used to be here at, well, what is now Cedars Fair, Great America. Cedars Fair done a good job. It is clean, it's pretty, but they've made a lot of changes that I just personally don't like because, you know, I'm very nostalgic to the 80s and 90s, and I just remember like having a pattern of what we like to do during the day, which is really cool. But I'm glad this is never moved. This is the Columbia Carousel, largest carousel in the world, 2 stories, super cool. But time for us to go walk around, check out the park, and check out some of the defunct rides that used to be here at Paramount's Six Flags Marriott's Great America. All right, we're going to start right over here at what was the Triple Play. Now, this ride was actually featured in Beverly Hills Cop 3 prominently at the end of the movie when there's a big old gun battle and Axel Foley has the Annihilator 3000 or 2000, I forget what it is. But this ride was right here. All those trees weren't there, so or they were smaller. I just don't remember, but it might have been a little further back. You see there's a fence there, kind of sitting middle way, so the ride must have been back there because these trees look pretty old. And I don't remember the trees necessarily, but could have been that the line, yeah, you know what that was? It was the line queue was here in these trees, and the ride sat just back behind there. But it was pretty cool. It kind of lifted up and spun you around. But this whole gazebo thing is still right here. And even this yellow step is still exactly the same painted color so you don't fall down or trip over it. But pretty cool that this is all still here. Now the top part is not there. There used to be the Triple Play sign up there. That is gone. But the gazebo is still here along with the Patriot. All right, we are all decked out here for Memorial Day weekend, and Red, White, and Bruise is what it's called. So pretty cool. But we have all these little like food booths all over the place, tasting things and drinks all over. We got some live music going on. Pretty cool. This is the town square area, right when you walk in through the main entrance. And it's, I don't know, man, it's nice. Look at this. They got standing tables here and pretty cool. I have never been here for like a Memorial Day event. Let's go check it out. Pretty cool. Got a big old large screen back there, live music. Beautiful 75-degree day here today. I love it. All right, so this isn't exactly extinct, but it did go through a name change. Not sure why. This used to be called the Vortex back in the 90s when Paramount owned this park. And then after Paramount did sell it, Cedars Fair did change the name from Vortex to the Patriot. Now, I don't know what the significance of that was. I don't know if it's a movie copyright name or what happened there. I don't know a movie named Vortex alone, so not sure what happened there, but not exactly extinct, but it did go through a whole recoloring of the paint and also a name change. All right, what we're looking at here is the Railblazer, and this is a new ride. I think it was 2018 when this was opened, possibly 2019. It's fairly new, but right here, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, I think even the early 2000s, was the Sky Whirl or the Triple Wheel. Now, us locals, wait, check this out. Straight down. Isn't that freaking awesome? This ride is so cool, fast, scary, whippy. It is really cool. But back in the day, we actually nicknamed this ride the Bird Cages because they look like bird cages. And what was cool about it was the world's first triple Ferris wheel. There were 3 different Ferris wheels all built into the one big old giant thing, and it was just really cool. Basically, they'd load you up, take you up, you'd go around while they loaded one on the ground. Like, it was really intelligent, like, engineering. It was super cool. And world's first, like, very, very world's first triple, like, Ferris wheel thing. So super cool, and this is where it stood. This was also used in Beverly Hills Cop 3, where Axel Foley's kind of jumping from birdcage to birdcage, trying to save those 2 children as he's getting chased by security. So really cool. I have a whole different video based on the filming locations of Beverly Hills Cop 3, and this is one of them. This is where the Sky Whirl once was. All right, and right over here, just next to where the Delta Flyer is, these like sky bucket things, right over here was the Edge back in the 80s and early 90s. What year did it close? I'm actually not sure. But it was right here, and it just basically had some dwindling, like, riders on it, basically. It did open in 83, I believe, 1983, and it closed in 1995, actually. But right here, where this little, like, Psycho Mouse ride is, was the Edge. And basically, it was just big old free fall where you kind of went all the way up to the top, and you dropped, but then it would slide out and you would be looking up at the sky. It was really, really cool. I mean, I went on a bunch of times, but I think it just had a dwindling ridership going on, and so they removed it to make room for this ride, and then they have these cars over here, this raceway, so pretty cool. I actually did really like this ride back in the day. I remember it being popular, but I guess, they count numbers, and I guess it had dwindling ridership, and I think I had a second location when it first arrived here, and then they moved it back here, and that was kind of its permanent home for a long, long time. All right, and as we make our way to the backside, we're now entering what is known as Planet Snoopy, and this is basically a Peanuts area for kids. And back in the 90s, when Paramount did own this park, it was actually called Nickelodeon Splat City, and then there was also Nickelodeon Kidsville. And it was really cool. They had all the Nickelodeon characters over here, like SpongeBob and all those, old Rugrats and things like that. And it's pretty cool. It's all the way back there, and then it does wrap around to this other area where they have built this new log cabin restaurant, and stores and everything are original. Most of the rides are original. They have changed up a little bit. And they did remove a couple rides that I'm going to talk about right now that I loved, and they built that water park that you see right back there. But this, back in the 90s, used to be Nickelodeon area. Very cool. All right, and then in this same area, this was kind of a separate kind of area, but where this fence is, and where they built most of that water park, there was one of my, I got to get away from that copyright music. That is totally Peanuts. I got to turn around. I'm going to go the other way. Hold on. All right, I tried to escape the music. I'm pretty far away, so hopefully we're good now. But right over here, where all these trees are, and behind this fence, and right there was the entrance to what was known as the Loggers Run. So basically, it was a very cool log ride that you kind of see at a lot of different parks all around, right? I know Knott's Berry Farm has one. I know Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk has one. I know a lot of Six Flags parks have them. But this is where Great America's was. It was called the Loggers Run. It was really cool. It was actually really, really long. And it was so much fun to go on back in the 90s. I remember going it so many times a day. It was just an amazing ride. And they made room so they could build this ginormous water park back there. And as we slide literally just a few feet away, you're gonna see these old lanterns, these lamps. And you can kind of see that they look like they're pirate themed, right? You got those hooks and everything there. And that's because right here was a dock. And at the dock was a giant like pirate ship called the Revolution. It just looked like an old Pirates of the Caribbean, or the officers, like the English guard, big old boat thing, right? Big old sailboat thing. And this ride would basically take you upside down and like take you all the way around, swinging, going fast, and they were this really, really cool. Go back and forth till it gave you a couple revolutions of 360 degrees. And these lamps are still here, still the same ones. But yeah, you can see that there was a little pier by these posts that are still here. And this is where it was. This is where the Revolution was. So same area, Revolution and the Loggers Run, both gone, so they could build that water park. All right, now this ride is actually fun. Peanuts 500, I actually go on it with my granddaughter. It is actually fun. But right over here, this whole area that you see, kind of left to right between this Peanuts Planet Snoopy sign and here, this whole area was this boat race thing where they had a kind of a small hill built. You'd walk up to the small hill, you'd grab a little boat on the way in, and it was like this water slide that was up there. And it was Scooby-Doo themed. It was really, really cool. I loved Scooby-Doo, and they had Scooby-Doo like big old wood paintings and things like that, and ghosts and monsters around it. And it was all right here. And basically what you did, you took your boat to the top, you dropped it in the water, and you kind of chased it down the hill as either a race or just a fun thing to kind of walk through. And it had like tunnels and bridges, and it was so much fun. And it's gone. And I really think they could have kept it, but I don't know why they removed it. They could have changed the name, and changed the Scooby-Doo theming out of there. I mean, they did own it during the Paramount time, but it was just really, really cool. And it's not a ride, but it was more of an attraction. It was just super, super fun. All right, and then right over here where Delirium is now, this area's actually been through a few changes. And it's kind of sad because I loved the two rides that they had here. Between here and then this giant Mass Effect space 4D ride kind of thing. It used to have a couple different eras of a couple different rides. Now back in the 80s, early 90s, there was a ride here that basically was from, left to right. It was right where all these trees are. So as you see here, back behind, there was a ride back there called the Tidal Wave. And it was really cool. It was on the back side of Vortex. Basically what you did was you kind of went this way. You did a giant loop-de-loop super fast. You went up to the top, and then you went back and you did the whole thing like in reverse. And you'd go up again, and then you'd be done. It was super cool. And it was right back there. And I don't know why they removed it. It was a really popular ride. Maybe it was just time for new changes, new technology or whatever. I don't know. But then after that, there was a ride right here, and I believe it was actually right in the, where was it? Hold on. And it's been a long time, and I don't exactly remember the exact location. I'm looking at the bridge, and I feel like it was right here where Delirium was, or maybe back, it was a little bit back by where that theater is now. And there was a ride there that was called Firefall, and that thing was actually pretty badass. Like, it was super cool. It kind of took you up, spun you around. There was a little itty bitty like river below you, and flames and fire would come shooting out at you. I remember it being super hot, and it was right back here. And then they took it out, and I don't know why. I can't find any information on why it's defunct, but it was removed. I mean, it must have been really expensive to do all the fire all the time. I remember there were times where the fire wasn't working, so maybe it just had a lot of issues and breakdowns and things like that where they ultimately just decided to get rid of it. But yeah, it was really cool. So you had the Tidal Wave here, and you had Firefall right there. Two really cool rides that are no longer here. And now you got this giant space 4D thing, and Delirium, which is actually pretty cool. I can't lie. Delirium's actually pretty cool. And basically, this Mass Effect New Earth 4D holographic journey is basically a Star Wars ripoff. So it is, you know, Star Tours essentially, kind of the same thing. They got your fake X-Wing fighter there. You got your doors where you enter and stuff. So essentially, same thing as Star Tours. Not as cool though. All right, and I'm actually pretty excited to see that this is not going away. This is Orleans Orbit. Well, it used to be called Orleans Orbit. Now it's called The Orbit, and it looks like they're under renovation and upgrading, so that's pretty cool. All right, kind of moving to the other side because there's just copyright music everywhere. Got a little 16 tons going on, but this is pretty cool. You can kind of see how it works. So there is a giant wheel that comes here, and there's all these little cars that kind of swing back and forth, and it basically lifts you from there straight up, and then you kind of spin all the way around as an orbit, and it's really cool. So I'm glad they're not getting rid of this. I'm glad they're just making upgrades. Well, and it looks like we're gonna have another defunct area here. This used to be like a sports bar, and this is all freshly gone. So not sure what the plan is here, but it is empty now, and it was pretty cool. It's just a little restaurant with TVs and stuff, so that way, you know, the adults could come and have a drink, and also, you know, have some bar food, and it's gone. That's new. All right, we're back over here by the backside now of the Vortex, which is now called the Patriot. And what is gone and what is missing, God, I can't escape the music. Right here, and you can see kind of, let me get a little closer, and I believe they did make room for Vortex, but there used to be a train that would go here. Actually, you know what? The train was here, and it went in between all these bushes. I remember now because Back to the Future, not Back to the Future, Beverly Hills Cop 3, you can see Axel Foley kind of standing over in this area, and this ride is in the background, and then there's also the train tracks that went right through there. And you know, what theme park doesn't need a train? Not sure why they got rid of it. Very cool train. It was a steam train, so that was very cool. Just like Disneyland, you know, that smell of that coal burning and all that. And the train is no longer here, but you can see it was right here. Very, very cool. I missed that thing. All right, so not an extinct or defunct ride, but this is now Flight Deck. And back in the 90s when Paramount built this ride brand new, it was called Top Gun. And this, guys, is my favorite ride in the world. Better than anything at Disneyland, better than anything at, Knott's Berry Farm. I mean, Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm is pretty amazing. That's probably my second favorite roller coaster, but Flight Deck, which used to be Top Gun, was my absolute favorite. Once you started walking in through here, and you can see the sign, I mean, it's totally changed, right? It is now Flight Deck, but you could tell it was Top Gun, right? All through the line, they had all this Top Gun theming, helmets, pictures, all that stuff was really cool. And basically, your feet kind of dangle, and it was like the top of the roller coaster, it holds you from the top, so it kind of hangs you, and it looks like a helmet on top of you, and it's really cool. But what I loved about it was, right when you got on the ride, Danger Zone started playing, and you basically heard Danger Zone throughout the whole ride, and it just fired you up. But let's check this out. You're gonna see how their feet dangle, and how the top of it, they look like fighter helmets. Super, super cool. Here we go. Your feet look like they're gonna hit, corkscrew, and then on the backside, you kind of go over a little pond, and you feel like you are like 1 foot away from that water. It is so cool. I always try to reach down and touch it, but you're obviously like, 10 feet above it, but it feels like you're 1 foot above it. It is so cool. But all the theming, the music, God, it was just absolutely amazing. And this was also in why do you keep saying that? Beverly Hills Cop 3. It was in, and what's funny is this Theater Royale, same exact, like nothing has changed, the name has not changed, and there was a whole scene right here where Axel Foley gets in a little fight with a couple kids because he doesn't do the okie dokie shuffle right. And like I said, I got a whole video on Beverly Hills Cop 3 that you can check out. But this, not defunct, but a name change, which is very disappointing because Top Gun, I still call it Top Gun. I will never call it Flight Deck. I will always call it Top Gun. Okay, so we're going to call that a day. Now, there are other rides. There was a ride called the Lobster, a couple other smaller things like that, but I'm not going to showcase those. The video would go on too long. There's been a lot of changes with all the different owners. It started as Marriott's Great America, then it went to be Six Flags, and then Paramount owned it, which was the best era of this park. When Paramount owned this park, it was phenomenal. Just movie stuff everywhere. And you guys know I'm a huge movie fan, especially the 80s. And my God, it was just the stores, the shirts, the rides, the food, everything was movie related, and it was just awesome. And then Cedar Fair, I gotta say, they have done a good job with it, but check this out. This is what I don't like, is they've made so many changes and they've opened up the space so much that it does feel empty. Like today, you know, Memorial Weekend, we're here on a Saturday, and the parking lot is absolutely full, but the theme park doesn't feel full because there's just so much space. And I don't know, I kind of don't like that. Even over in the main area where Town Square is, it just doesn't feel the same. And even when it's busy, it doesn't feel busy. And I don't like that. I like that they had a lot of more stuff in there and they took them all out. All right, guys, so thank you for coming along with me on this little extinct, defunct rides at Paramount's Great America. I'm going to call it Paramount's because that was my favorite. Cedar Fair, good job, but I miss all the nostalgic rides here at Great America. I've been coming here since I was a kid. You know, this park goes back to the 70s when it opened, and I don't know, it's been through a lot of changes, and I miss a lot of the old rides, and that's why I wanted to do this video, kind of showcase some of my favorites. So, thank you again, and you know, keep joining me on some journeys. I got some filming location videos coming up. I've got some famous graveyard videos coming up. We got a Disneyland trip coming up. So we got a lot going on this summer. So stick around, guys. Subscribe to the channel, all right? Really, really appreciate it if you do that. Yeah, you know, I just love doing these videos. They're so much fun. So, all right, guys. I will see you on the next adventure. A little bonus footage. Now, it's pretty cool because the wind always blows in from the west to the east, and these water fountains right here, when you walk on this side, you get sprayed with water. And on this beautiful, you know, it's 75, 78 degrees, somewhere around there, it feels so good right here. That's why you see all the people sitting here, because you get that little wisp of water splash mist all on you to kind of cool you down. So there we go. Bonus footage complete.